Happy 1 year anniversary is what I'm going to say for the beginning of this video. Because for the rest of this video, we're going to talk about the bugs and the glitches and the issues that have been in Dawn of Liberty for the entire year it's been out. Now, while I don't have video for every issue that's happened in the game, I do have quite a few issues and bugs that have been in the game that have been reported multiple times before, and they just haven't been resolved, and more bugs just keep being added per every patch. And I'm talking about these bugs have been in the game since the very beginning of the game, since the alpha of the game even. Like the hookshot bug, where you are on the hookshot, and even if you're looking at the direction of the hookshot, you get, for some reason, flung in the opposite direction, or you just don't get caught in the direction you're supposed to be going in the first place. I'm able, however, to pull it off because I found a very sweet spot that sometimes doesn't always work, but that's the main one. This one we're having right here is a performance issue that we've had on PlayStation since the last update, where they were supposed to address performance issues on console. They said that they were going to increase the performance of the console version of the game, and yet we're getting lag in dungeons to where we are freezing every few frames, preventing us from gliding like you're seeing I'm having issues doing right here. Now, while gliding isn't a major obstacle in every dungeon, the issue of stuttering through your dungeon is a major cause for concern, because once again, you don't know what's going to happen as you play through your dungeon. You might do as I do right here, where I launch into the sky and then my camera turns completely around from gliding. I don't know why that happened. We don't have a button for that I can think of. I turned off my immediate 360 or my immediate 180 turn button, so just another issue that's been happening. It's either that or your camera trying to pull you to face another direction that you're not facing at all when you start to glide, and that messes up your entire mechanic. Like, for say, when you do the Rex Chimera dungeon, you go up for the mechanic and then your camera's facing the opposite way and screws you over. Or moments like here where you jump for the glide, fall, and if you weren't me, you would have died. Because we've dealt with this so much, we've just decided to, once we notice that we're falling, we hit the roll button, and it kind of cancels the amount of damage you take, depending on when you hit the roll button before you land. But hey, don't tell Amazon that. They'll probably decide to fix that like they did the DaVinci, that really fixed a lot of issues with the game. So the DaVinci's bug, which is kind of new, we're going to jump forward. The DaVinci's issue was where if you spoke to the DaVinci's NPC that you summoned, the little fairy Solia, well, you had a issue with your stamina, like your weapon being stuck out, and you had an issue with your stamina, she would actually force you to put your weapon up, and then you could get your stamina back. So like if you were doing like the Goblin event, and you were stuck with your weapon out and you couldn't regain stamina, you couldn't keep up with a pack of people chasing goblins, you could just summon your DaVinci's fairy, speak to her, she'll put your weapon up, and then you'll be able to continue running with the gang. Now you can't do that, so they essentially nerfed DaVinci's one of DaVinci's major one of DaVinci's major benefits. I don't know why. Someone might have reported it. I don't understand why they took that away. But it's definitely a huge pitfall, because once again we still have the bug where you can actually be stuck with your weapon out and you just lose stamina constantly when you're trying to sprint, even if you're supposed to be in a peaceful mode. Now this next issue is a major issue that I've had happen multiple times so far. Luckily it hasn't happened on arch bosses more than twice, but it has happened on regular bosses more than once. This issue is where you are stuck in the game in a loading screen. And when I mean stuck, I mean your character loads into whatever the instance might be, and then you get stuck in that loading screen and you have to log out and log back in. However, you can't log back in because every time you try to log back in, you are faced with a pretty much just a standstill screen. Your character's in the map of the area where you're supposed to be, just standing there. There's nothing else around. You can see your chat, but your chat doesn't move. Everything else is just kind of blank. And you're kind of just waiting to disconnect the game, because it will just disconnect you over and over. This has been in the game since the very beginning of the game, once again. This has happened before when it used to happen only in dungeons, but now since they've made the world bosses have these portals that are crossplay, just knocking on the crossplay thing again, this has been an issue that's been going on again. with the new portals that are crossplay. So you're constantly just getting kicked out of the game back to back, and there's no way to fix this that we know of. Well, we did develop a small fix where you can actually go back to your main character screen and hit the select character button. If you have a second character, you can log into a second character. That forces your character offline. And then when you force your character offline, you can log back into your main character after you log out of your alt or whatever it might be that the character is. But that's just how we figured to deal with it so far. They haven't had a fix for this. Once again, I've lost multiple chances of Archboss Ashen loot or just Archboss loot, to be honest, because I haven't had a chance to get into those dungeons. I've tons and tons of chances at World Boss loot just because I haven't been able to get into like probably 10 to 15 World Bosses so far. And I am a high ranking World Boss person, so like I rank between top 1 and 15 every time. So it's frustrating when you can't get into the World Boss and then you miss your chest for the pity chest as well, and you lose the 1,000 stellar, you lose all that stuff or whatever. Like, you lose all of that when you can't get into your dungeon. I mean, you can't get into your World Boss. As before, with the dungeon variation of this bug, you would get your penalty and you wouldn't be able to participate in the dungeon for the penalty period of time. Moving away from the hyperactive side of the game and going to a part of the game that only guild officers and guild advisors and the guild leader know about. The issue of distributing. Distributing has been a big issue in this game, for console at least, since the very beginning. I don't know if this happens on PC, but it happens on console to where once you distribute an item to a member or members, you can't go back into your menu buttons for whatever. You can't go back into your menu for whatever reason through your buttons or anything like that. Only you can do is teleport through the ring menu, and sometimes you can't even do that. It leads you to have to close the game and relaunch the game to gain control over your character again. Once again, this is a day one bug. We've dealt with it since the game launched up until now, and it's just another thing that just hasn't been fixed. And then we have the other issue that has been in the game since day one again, where you can't get into a party without it kicking someone, or a Vanguard without it kicking someone, or everyone from the party or Vanguard. And they've had multiple little workarounds to get those things fixed, where you change your settings on PlayStation to where you can do things with everyone, or you change your privacy settings, which you shouldn't have to change your privacy settings, to be honest, to have access to those things in the game, because other games have made it to where you can party with people that you don't know and party with people that you have no idea who they are. But this, for some reason, they just can't figure out how to code or develop this game to where you can play with people you don't know. And yeah, that's just something that's been in the game since day one. Once again, even though the Vanguard system is newer, the party system, the thing with the party has been in there since day one. If you don't have that person on your friends list on PlayStation, you can't get into a party with them, or, well, you can, but it's going to take you like 4 to 5 times of trying to party them or whatever it may be. But it more than likely result in you or your party members getting kicked constantly over and over. And sometimes it lasts for up to an hour, where we've tried to create a Vanguard under multiple different names, where people are just permanently bugged until they relog their character and switch their character to an alt and log back onto their main character again, just to get the character to refresh itself. But once again, bugs that don't have fixes and have been here since day one. Then on the backside of that, on PlayStation, there is a issue where you can join someone's party without them knowing that you're trying to join their party, because on the PlayStation home screen, if you are on hovering over the Throne of Liberty game, you can see friends that are in the game, and if they're in a party or not. If they're in a party, or even if they're not in a party, you can just press join game, and it logs you in and puts you in their party without any prompt alerting them that you're going to join their party. We have loads and loads of targeting issues where sometimes you can't target mobs, you can't hard target mobs, you can't soft target mobs, you just can't play against mobs. There are times where it shifts from daytime to nighttime, where it won't let you switch your user recommended settings to where you are targeting monsters again, because your game is stuck on the target players only mode if you have the setting like that set up like I do for nighttime. And of course, that's only within PvP zones like the Abyss dungeons, but I spend my time in those areas. And this is not even just the beginning of the list of bugs and issues that have been in the game since day one, but this video has already gone on to be about 10 minutes long so far. Yeah, these are issues that just haven't been fixed at all, and they just keep adding more issues to the game every patch. So maybe someone will actually see this and take a step into fixing some of these bugs and issues. But that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. It's been forever, and once again, happy birthday, Throne Liberty, and hopefully make it to your second.